Good morning, everyone. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to just kind of file in. I appreciate you all joining me this morning for our next session of the Catch a Contact Career Exploration virtual series, resumes. So I'm excited to be here with you guys today, and I'll just put you guys on a brief hold as we wait for everybody to join. Just a reminder, these are recorded. You will get access to the previous sessions. They will be on our YouTube. Just to give you a heads up, some of them are already there. You'll also get a email with the links to them. This series has had a great turnout. I appreciate all of you guys coming and joining us and getting this knowledge. Like I said, the industry is opening up, so it's imperative that we know how to navigate this new industry as a community, and the jobs are coming online. So I'm really happy about that. Well, I'm gonna get started. You guys are not. Some of you guys are not muted. As you know, we do have the Q&A at the end of this session, and feel free. Again, I'm the only presenter today, so feel free to jump in and ask questions or raise your hand as I'm going through this presentation. Today, we're going to be going over resumes, and I'm going to also delve into artificial intelligence and kind of trying to navigate a landscape in this 2024 market of technology and in cannabis. As you guys know, I do like to start my sessions off with talking about the economic impact to New York State. Today, I have a slide from the Office of Cannabis Management. If you guys don't know, they have put out their annual report. And it's an overview of the highlights of what has happened in 2023. And the slide that I pulled that resonated with me most was how much money the market has generated over the last year. So in New York, in 2023, we had 40 stores open. That was a growth of 39 stores. We had one store open in 2022, and we had 39 more stores open in 2023. We currently have 47 stores open total in the state. So that means that we've grown by 7 in only 13 days, which I'm very excited about. And during that time, the New York State cannabis market has generated over $150 million in retail sales. New York's cannabis retail market experienced remarkable growth throughout 2023, with sales escalating from 2.2 million in the month of January to 18.8 million in the month of November. So you can see it is just growing. And what that means is opportunities, right? Growth equals opportunity. And so I'm really happy. As you guys know, you will get access to these PowerPoints and these recordings. My team will be sending you out the recordings and these PowerPoints shortly. So within this week, you should get them. We were behind, so you might get the last two all at once. But again, this is remarkable for New York State cannabis. Yesterday, the Office of Cannabis Management released a list of applicants that they are currently reviewing in order to get licensed. It was pretty extensive. It was pretty long. There was over 2,000 applicants on that list. It's just exciting because, again, it means opportunity for you all. So please check LinkedIn, check the Department of Labor's website, check our website. There are jobs going online every day. And so just keep a lookout for them, and, try to stay connected, so that you know what's going on and you can actively apply, right? And again, today I wanted to really go over resumes. So in the past sessions, we talked about all the roles that are available in cannabis. We talked about ancillary roles that aren't directly plant touching, but they support cannabis. And then we talked about transferable skills and how you can showcase your powerhouse of skills. Well, today I want to show you guys how to put all of that together in a resume in order to apply for that job that you've been looking at. right? And then our next session will actually be on networking and how to actually apply for the job. But today we're going to focus on resumes. I want to answer your questions. I want to show you guys what a resume looks like in 2024. I want to show you how you should organize a resume, and just for a position in cannabis. This is a new industry, so there's a lot of flexibility. So crafting a resume to blaze into the New York cannabis industry. You're going to learn how to tailor your resume to showcase your powerhouse skills and capitalize on your professional currency. If you were at the last session, you heard Jumani Hughes talk about your professional currency and your powerhouse of skills and how you're going to pull those transferable skills out, right? So in New York, the cannabis industry is growing, it's blooming. I love it. And it's offering exciting career prospects. And to stand out from the crowd and land your dream job in cannabis, you're going to have to tailor your resume to showcase your skills and passion for this dynamic industry. So I'm going to give you some tips. First, I'd like to start off with how you highlight relevant experience. Again, we talked about transferable skills. We even did a workshop. So if you were on the last session, you already should have a list of your powerhouse of transferable skills, and these are your most relevant skills, your strongest skill sets. These are the type of skills that you want to highlight on your resume, and the jobs that you want to go after will be using those skill sets, right? So even non-cannabis experience can be valuable. Please remember that. Prior roles in retail, customer service, agriculture, healthcare, lab work, they all translate into relevant skills like sales, inventory management, plant cultivation, quality control, right? Emphasize transferable skills and your achievements on your resume. Your volunteer work or internships that you've had. If you any volunteer work in dispensaries, or you've taken workshops, highlight that. If you've done advocacy work with organizations, even if they're not obviously cannabis related, highlight that. Demonstrate your commitment to the industry and to your community, and then provide that valuable experience. Next are keywords. Keywords are so important. And when I start talking about the AI, the artificial intelligence and algorithms, you'll understand why they're so important. I want you to research common keywords used in the cannabis job descriptions. Um, Last time, the Department of Labor joined us, and they provided us with job descriptions, and I will send you guys a link, if I didn't already, to the Department of Labor's cannabis website, where they do have job descriptions on there. I implore you to look at them, see what position you want that you're applying for, and then look at the description of that position. Pull out the keywords. These might include things like cultivation, extraction, processing, testing, dispensary operations, compliance, marketing. There are going to be keywords in those job descriptions, and I want you to put them in your resume, right? The reason why is because AI and algorithms are picking up on that, and it's going to make sure that your resume is more likely seen, right? So you're going to infuse, you like what I did there, right? Your resume with these keywords organically throughout your work history and skill sections.
Don't
Don't
GMO it,
just,
right?
I'm sorry?
Don't GMO it, right?
Don't GMO it. Like that. um, don't just stuff them in there. Use them naturally to describe your accomplishments. You guys are creative. This is where you can be creative. And this goes into my next point. Be creative. This is your opportunity. Again, this is a new industry. So there might be even an opportunity for you to create a role for yourself, and think about that as you're crafting your resume and what that looks like and what you're good at. You want to quantify your impact. We talked about this. We talked about your powerhouse of skills. Those skill sets, you can quantify them, right? You can go beyond just listing the tasks that you did. Use numbers, quantify your achievements. Did you increase your sales for your last job? What was the percentage that you increased? 10%, 20%? Did you streamline the cultivation process? Did you save time or resources for your last employer, really highlight your quantifiable results and the impact there. And then list any relevant cannabis education or training that you received. It's very important for the roles that you're applying for. This can include online courses, certification courses, workshops that you've taken. Again, if you've come to a Catch a Contact Career Summit, you've taken workshops, highlight that on there. Even the most basic cannabis knowledge is important. If you've done things in the legacy market, they translate to the legal market. Figure out what skills you've learned. Let's say you cultivated, you understand pH, you understand nutrients, you understand pruning, you understand growing a plant. Use those keywords in your resume. I like to lean into soft skills. We talked about soft skills and hard skills. The Department of Labor did a great overview of that. And in the cannabis industry, values strong communication. It's so important in this diverse industry, right? Teamwork, problem solving, and attention to detail are also so important. Showcase these soft skills through examples of your work history or volunteer experience. Show them that you have the skills already, that you can do the job. Another thing is compliance. Demonstrate your understanding of New York's cannabis regulations. If you are on this workshop, I'm sure this isn't the first workshop that you've been to, and you understand what's going on in cannabis in New York. And if you don't, I definitely implore you to look at OCM's website and just do a brief overview of regulations around the position or role that you're applying for. And this shows that you're responsible and a compliant candidate, right? That you take the rules and the regulations seriously in this industry. And that is so important right now. Everybody is new in this industry. Even if they've been doing it for the last year, it's still new. And so having someone that understands that compliance is important and that you're willing to go above and beyond and actually look up those regulations and what the compliance is, it just shows the type of candidate that you are, and it can definitely set you apart, right? And then most importantly, in today's world of looking for a job, you have to tailor your resume for each job. And so I think it is so important that you find the role that you want to do and just apply at different organizations for that same role so that you don't have to recraft your resume for each one. But if there are different roles you want to go for, you have to craft your resume for each of those roles. So if you want to go for a position in cultivation, have a resume that's tailored to the cultivation, that shows the cultivation. But if you want to go for a job in retail, make sure you're tailoring that resume to retail, and you can still highlight that you have an understanding of the plant, how to grow the plant, and the science behind the plant is so important even in retail. So again, here we are, two different jobs, but transferable skills between the two. Right? So again, tailoring it. Don't send a generic resume out for every job. Take the time to tailor each resume to the specific position you're applying for and highlight the skills and experience most relevant to that job description, right? And then again, back to being creative. Consider a creative approach. The cannabis industry is known for its laid back and innovative spirit. It's appropriate for the position. If it's appropriate for the position, you can use a visually appealing resume template or even incorporate a subtle cannabis reference like a hemp paper background to your resume if it stands out and it's something that you've done. I can't stress enough to remember when you do create your resume to proofread. Typos and grammatical errors can be a major turnoff for employers, and then they won't look any further. And when we get to AI, you'll see how AI is looking at resumes as well. So you just want to make sure that you're proofreading it. And there's so many tools now to help you create your resume, and I'm going to go over those too. So AI works on both ends. It works for you and the employer. So I want you to understand that. And then keep it concise. Make sure your resume is one page. Don't add, uh, experience from 15 years ago if it isn't relevant. You don't have to list each job that you've had, right? You can list experience that is important to that position. And you don't even have to necessarily put in the dates that you work the job, but rather how much experience you have in that skill set, right? And I'll show you that because I'm going to show you an example resume today. And then make sure you're using a professional email address and phone number, okay? Um, and what I mean by that is just making sure that your email address maybe is your name. I'll give an example. I have a few different emails, right? One of them I had for a long time, fresh to death. I would never apply to a job and use fresh to death at yahoo.com, right? I'm going to use my Tiffany at gmail.com email account because it's professional and I'll probably get a call back. I'm going to give you guys some additional resources for this, but following these tips and showcasing your unique skill sets and passion, and you'll be on your way, right, to landing a job in cannabis. Now I kind of want to go into AI. So beyond the basics, AI and job searching in 2024. The way we search, apply, and even interview for jobs is changing with the advancement of artificial intelligence or AI, right? Um, it's different in 2024. AI is making the job search process more efficient, it's more personalized, and even a bit futuristic. Here's a glimpse into the world of AI powered job hunting. So I'm going to give you guys some different tools, or I'm going to describe some different tools that are used today when looking for a job. Robotic recruiting. So, gone are the days of endless scrolling through job boards. You don't have to scroll through job boards. AI powered recruitment platforms uh, are now sifting through massive pools of applicants using algorithms to identify candidates who best match the job requirements. These robot recruiters can analyze your resume, cover letter, social media profiles, and even your online activity to create a comprehensive picture of your skills and experience. There are tools like LinkedIn that does this. And I'll share some more tools with you, but just keep that in mind. Personalizing job recommendations. No more feeling like you're lost in a sea of irrelevant job postings. AI can now personalize your job search experience by suggesting opportunities that align with your skills, interests, and career goals. Imagine a system that learns from your browsing history and past applications, to curate a list of jobs that are perfectly fit for you. That can happen in the world of AI. And it can help you prepare for virtual interviews, right? So there are these things called virtual interview assistants, and they help you master your interview before you even get to the interview. So an AI powered virtual assistant can help you practice your responses to common interview questions, provide feedback on your body language and communication style. Yeah, I know. It's really cool. These tools can even stimulate real life interview scenarios, boosting your confidence and preparing you for that big day. So when they ask you questions like, well, why do you think you're a good fit? You already know because you've practiced it. Or what is the hardest thing you've had to face in a past job experience? You've already thought and articulated your answer. And so you don't have that pause. You don't have to think. You're ready to answer that question in the interview. They offer things like skills assessment and training. So AI can identify the skills you need to land your dream job and recommend personalized training programs to help you develop them. Imagine a system that analyzes your resume and suggests online courses, certifications, or even mentorship opportunities. There are technology that exists to help you do that. And then there's chatbots. So chatbots, they help you navigate the job search process. Chatbots are always available to answer your questions and provide guidance and even offer moral support. LinkedIn has these chatbots. These are virtual assistants that can help you from everything from writing your resume to preparing for interviews. If you guys have LinkedIn right now and you filled it out with your past job experience, your volunteer experience, even highlighted accomplishments or certificates, you can actually go to LinkedIn and ask them to give you a copy of your resume, and they'll create a copy of a resume, or they'll generate a resume for you based off of what you've already put in your profile. That can be a great starting point for your resume. So I would all implore you to definitely go to LinkedIn if you have it, and pull your resume from there. And again, it's just a starting point. I would definitely craft it more and be creative. Again, the keywords are so important. And of course, the increasing role of AI in job searching also raises concerns about bias and fairness. It's crucial to ensure that AI algorithms are not perpetuating existing inequalities in the job market. However, when used properly and responsibly, AI has the potential to make the job search process more accessible, efficient, and ultimately more successful for everybody. So, buckle up. The future of job hunting is driven by AI, and it's an exciting ride ahead. Just remember to keep your skills sharp, stay adaptable, and embrace the power of technology. Now, how AI works, it can be different if you're a job seeker or if you're an employer. So I kind of want to go over using AI, right, as a job seeker, and how you can feel the impact of it. So, kind of here's a breakdown of the changing landscape, we'll say. AI powered resume builders and cover letter generators. These tools can help you build your application materials to specific job postings, highlighting relevant skills and experience. Again, these are things like LinkedIn, um, or job search platforms powered by AI, like LinkedIn and Indeed. They're increasingly using AI to match candidates to relevant job openings. So if you signed up for Indeed, you might get these automated, and you loaded your resume. You'll get these emails that or even LinkedIn, or even LinkedIn and Indeed both do this, where if you are, say that you're actively looking for a job, they'll start sending you recommendations for positions. And if you're paying attention to it, they're positions that meet the skill sets in your resume. Right. So they're already doing that, and you might not have noticed it, but that's what they're doing. And so I think that it's great when you upload your resume in those platforms, because they can help you with that. They can help you find jobs that meet your skill sets that you may not have thought of. Then there's virtual coaches and interviewing prep tools, like I just told you, that can help you with, um, you know, those interview questions before you even land the interview, and just helping you format your resume. So AI powered chatbots and simulations can provide personalized feedback on your resume, on your cover letter, and provide interview skills, helping you prepare for the job search process. It's so important, that you're prepared when you go to these employers. And then for employers, there's applicant tracking systems. I want you guys to know what this is. An applicant tracking system is an automation, it's AI, and these systems use AI to screen resumes and applications, automatically filtering out candidates who don't meet the basic requirements. This can be good or bad, right? If the AI is filtering through thousands of applicants, it means that you might not even get seen by the employer, even if you have the skill sets to meet the job, because maybe you didn't tailor your resume in the right way. And that's why I said keywords are so important. Having your keywords in there, make sure that your resume is seen. And then the recruitment tools can also help employers identify potential candidates based on their skills, experience, and even personal traits or personality traits. So just make sure that you have those soft skills in there too, that we talked about, and hard skills, because AI is searching all of that. And then also, they're using AI to do automated interview scheduling and even candidate evaluations. So AI can be used to schedule interviews, conduct pre-screening interviews, and analyze candidates' responses to interview questions. So you might be on a virtual interview with a employer, and you don't know this, but they're using an AI technology in the background that's analyzing what you're saying to them, that is, maybe even conducting the interview, and you might not see a real person per se. And so things are changing, and I want you guys to be prepared. I think that overall AI is making the job process more efficient and targeted for both job seekers and employers. But it is important to remember that AI is not a replacement for human interaction. And so this will be our next session when we talk about networking and why it's so important to network and meet people, meet your potential employers face to face at events, because nothing beats meeting someone and telling them how great you are for their job and telling them how you can solve their problems, right? And how you can be that employee that they need. Maybe they need to hear it, and they won't do that. They won't hear it through these AI automated job searching. So that human interaction is so important. And then you really want to focus on developing your transferable skills. Again, we talked about this. AI is automating many routine tasks. So it's important to focus on the skills that are difficult to automate, such as critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving. I can't stress that enough. Critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, communication. These are all things that AI can't do as well as you. And so making sure that you highlight those skills, how maybe you created a new process at your last job and it just helped everybody be more efficient. Talk about that. AI might not have been able to do that, but you were, because you heard the feedback of your coworkers and you were able to implement a new process and take into account how they feel about it. So these are things that are so important, and I need you to quantify that on your resume. Build your online presence. I talked about having a profile on Indeed. I talked about having a profile on LinkedIn. Make sure that you're out there and that you're connecting with others, that you're speaking to others, that you're, responding, posting things that are relevant to you in the job that you want. Just be active and be proactive, and make sure that your profiles are up to date and they showcase your current skills or relevant skills and experience to the job that you want. And then networking with professionals in your field. Again, we'll go into that next week. I'm really excited about the networking portion, but make sure that you're networking. That's how you're going to learn about job openings that aren't advertised. That's how you're going to build relationships with potential employers, and that's how you might land the job. Even though AI is great and employers are using it, I'm sure that if you met an employer in person and you were highlighting the skills that you had, they would be more apt to want to interview you than with AI. It can be overwhelming because on the other side of AI, let's say you are the employer and it's surf and you posted a job posting and you have 1,000 people that applied and AI says, here's 300 candidates that meet your qualifications. Well, now you have to go through 300 candidates where if while you were going through 300 candidates, you met someone in person that sparked your interest, that showed you they had the skill sets, you're probably more likely as an employer to interview that person and go at them than just continue to sift through those resumes. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Again, human interaction is so important. And we talked about this. This word was repeated so many times: adaptability. Be prepared to adapt. The job market is constantly changing, so it's important to be willing to learn new skills and adapt to new technologies. So don't be scared of AI. Don't be scared of what that means for you. Embrace it and figure out how it can help you create a resume easier, help you create a cover letter a lot easier, and even land that job. So don't be scared or intimidated. Try to embrace it, and see, it may be an advantage to you. And you may be able to increase your chances in 2024 of landing that job. So now, before I go into a workshop, I'm going to just ask anyone, do they have any questions about what I kind of just reviewed? And then I'm going to show you a resume and kind of review it with you guys. Nathaniel, you have your hand up. Did you have a question about any of this?
Yes, I did actually. I wanted to ask you. In the very beginning, you mentioned about the number crunching in terms of how many stores was opened up. Um, I mean, I'm a cannabis user. You know what I mean? I eat the cannabis. I smoke it. Um, in my community where I'm at, I'm located right now in the Leopards Garden section of Flatbush Avenue. We call it. I'm a local. I call it Flatbush Avenue. When I say every other block has a smoke shop, it literally has every other block as a smoke shop. So the question I want to ask you is that, I think you said mentioned, I think it was like 30 or 50 stores open up,
Hmm.
and I could say from Parks, no, not from Parkside, from Lincoln Road all the way up to, say, maybe all the way up to Church Avenue, I could find at least 10 stores on that strip alone. On that, or just from walking from Lincoln Road to, say, like I said, Church Avenue, I'll count like at least 10 to 15 stores approximately. So I guess the question I want to ask you is that for all these stores is being popped up, the numbers what you're saying on there, does it add up compared to, the different vendors that, or the dispensaries that's out here? Are these dispensaries in question not actually registered with the Department of Labor and, or the catch of cannabis? I mean, I was trying to understand that. Like, are these dispensaries
So,
open illegally speaking?
so they are illegal. So when you go into a legal dispensary in New York State, there's actually a sign that says it's a legal dispensary. It's on the door or the window, and it'll have a QR code. And I'll find it before the end of this session and show it to you all. And on there, you can tell if it's a legal dispensary if they don't have one, then they're not legal and they're not licensed in the state. The reason why that matters is just what you said right there, right? They're coming into our communities, but they're not paying the taxes. They are supporting the community in the fact that they may be giving the community jobs, but they're not legal. And that means that the
Right.
cannabis, there's go
No,
ahead.
you hit around the money on that, because I was thinking in my head, because like I'm saying 50, I'm like 50. Man, if you had any
There
idea how
are
many,
thousands.
yeah, you know what I mean? Because like ever since the powers that may be to say, you know what, let's tax marijuana. They should. I mean, this should have been done a long time ago, but that's not even here or there. But the fact that is being taxed now, um, yeah, I've been seeing like stores popping up like crazy, and even for people as colored melanized people such as you and such as myself and you, the process, like going through the red tape of the application. And I'm glad that you presented in the workshop that with the classes that we're taking, that we, should we pursue it, that they'll teach the people, teach the applicants how to fill out the application, the proper way of doing it, X, Y, and Z. The fact that I'm seeing so many stores popped up like a coffee shop, like a bodega store in a smoke shop. So I'm like, yo, it cannot be this easy to be, to get an application. Now, not for nothing, when you walk inside these dispensaries, the first line of defense who you see, what I'm saying, you see a person like, like myself, what I'm saying, or like yourself at the front desk. But when it boils down to the person who's running the operation, these people they're definitely from overseas, either
Yep.
from Yemen or some Saudi Arabia or Turkey. You know what I'm saying? Like I have yet to see a person from African descent saying, hey, our dispensary, come support us. Like I get to see that. So it was just I just wanted to know. I was just curious to know
No,
about
I
this.
think that that's a great question. One, because we're talking about applying for jobs, right? And so to know the
Right.
difference between applying for a job at a legal dispensary versus a illegal dispensary, because it can be confusing. Some of them look like most of them, if they're, out of these thousands of shops, they look legal. And you wouldn't know unless I shared in the chat the link to the cannabis dispensary location verification tool, and you can use that tool to see all of the legal dispensaries in the state. And every time the state opens up a legal dispensary, they add them to that list. It is also on our Gram tool. We keep Gram updated with all of the legal dispensaries in the state. So that's the first way that you can tell whether it's legal or illegal. But I will say that I've known people that have worked in the illicit shops, and what do they're gaining experience in a different way, but it's still experience. And that's why I said it is kind of hard, because these illicit shops are employing community members. They're creating an ecosystem of their own, and there are way more, as you just described, thousands of them compared to the 47 legal stores that we have. And that's not just in the city. That number 47 is the whole state. So that's
So
upstate,
yeah,
western,
it threw
downstate,
me off completely.
the city.
Yeah, when you said that, yeah, it threw me off completely. I was like 47, man. Shit, I could find 47 within a 2-mile radius. You know what I'm saying? Within the neighborhood. So I'm like, 47. This can't be right. The numbers is not. The math is not mathing properly here.
It's not.
But yeah,
And the reason why I think the reason why we should be concerned is just because of what you said, right? Even in the traditional legacy market, you would have people that sold cannabis, but they would sell it to their friends. They would sell it, maybe out their
the
house. They
in-house.
would sell it.
It's an in-house thing, right? Exactly.
Right.
So
Now
I try to find it.
you don't know where the product is coming from. And I'm, again, we're consuming this, we're eating it. So we want to be careful where it's coming from. When you go to a licensed dispensary, all of the cannabis sold in the dispensary is tested, one. I'm not going to say all of them are New York brands, because now we do have other brands coming in from other states, but it is most of them are New York brands, and so you're supporting New York brands. And I think it brings up another point, is to just make sure you're educating yourself, because the reason why we want to support legal dispensaries is really because, one, we want to make sure that we're consuming things that have been tested, because we're consuming it. Two, the tax revenue goes back to your community. When you see a store on, uh, I'm trying to think of where Status Quo is located in the Bronx, but when you see when you see a store in your neighborhood, that means that the tax revenue from that store is going back to your community. 4%, 1%, 4% in total, and then literally locally. And I'll actually go into that in the next one. I'll actually do bring up some stuff and do some research and present you guys with this. But it does go into your community. And no other industry, I have to stress this, no other industry in this state does money go directly back into our community. The lottery, they say it goes back into the school district, but that can be debated here or there. What we do
I
know
agree
for
with you.
cannabis,
You're so
go
listen.
ahead.
You're so right, because with the lottery, because I was living in California for a good 2 years, and not for nothing, majority of not all the lotteries, they claim they push it for the schools and stuff like that. But even
Mhm.
down to that, there was a scandal. It did some kind of little scandal. Not always had scandal, but the people been talking about how the money is not really going into the schools, because if it really is going to the schools, then what kind of education the schools is teaching our children? Like this is where our tax dollars being paid for. And I don't, like I said, I don't want to digress too much into that. But what you're saying is, you're saying it very on point. You ain't saying nothing wrong right now. Like,
Thank you. And I want you guys to know that, because this is how the Department of Labor started a campaign called Why Buy Legal. And this is the reason why you want to buy legal cannabis from a registered legal dispensary, because it benefits your community. It benefits us, especially Black and brown people that live in communities disproportionately impacted. That money is going directly back into our communities. And that's why we have the Cannabis Advisory Board. They advise on where that money will be spent. They haven't yet made decisions on that. And so I say this to say, especially Nathaniel, you seem like you're very passionate and you're involved. Stay involved in the community. Go to your community board meetings. See how they're talking about spending that money locally where you're at, and make sure that it's on things that your community wants, from education, senior programs, educational programs, for cannabis workshops and things like that. And just in general, empowering the community for more. This is going to be $1 billion industry. We see there's thousands of illicit stores open, but when we have thousands of legal stores open, it'll be a flip, and then that revenue will be going back. So I really just want, I think there was a great question that you brought up, especially when applying for a job, to know the difference between a legal and an illicit position or store that you're applying for. I also think that Anthony had his hand up. Anthony, let me make sure that you're unmuted. Now you can speak, Anthony. And good morning.
What I was thinking about, as far as with the stores, what I hear a lot from residents in different areas is that they don't know the difference between the illicit stores and the legal stores. I was thinking, is there some type of initiative we can create, right, through Cannabis Connect, Catch a Contact, where when you go to a restaurant, you see a grade in front of the store, grade A, grade B, and it kind of helps you decide if you want to go there or not. Is there something we can create where if you're selling tobacco or marijuana, you have to have this sign on your door, and that sign could, be a grade, or it can insinuate if this is a legal or an illicit shop. And if you sell tobacco or marijuana through the state, you have to have this here. They will place it. Is that something that sounds possible and something we could do?
So we have our own initiative at Cannabis Connect, and I'll talk about that in a second. But the state did do this with their. If you look in the chat, I dropped location verification tool, and the state knows that this is a big issue, so they put these stickers with QR codes in every legal dispensary. The issue is they only have 47 legal dispensaries, so how often is someone seeing that sign? Not often if you're just a regular um New York resident and you don't know anything about the cannabis industry. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in the cannabis industry, you don't know that these signs exist, and you don't even know what they look like, most likely. And so you're not looking for it. I think that it needs to, I'm going to be honest, especially in the city, I think it's less of an issue outside of the city and upstate areas. Um, I'll also point out that when New York State does bust an illicit shop, they do put a poster up that says that this store has been busted for selling illegal cannabis, and that their cannabis is confiscated. And it's a big white and red sign poster that they're not supposed to remove off their door that does say that
I
they've
seen
been
that before.
busted.
I seen that in
Right.
Harlem.
But the thing is, they don't have the capacity to bust them all. So now we're talking
Right.
about thousands of stores. And so most of them don't have the red or white big poster that says they've been busted. And obviously they don't have this green sign that the state created. And so, yes, it leaves residents confused. Anthony, I think you bring up a great point. And what we're trying to do at Cannabis Connect is actually work with the Office of Tourism. I think that it's important that the Office of Tourism steps in, because so many, one, in New York City, I think, what is it? Or for every resident, there's like eight, you know, uh, uh, tourists that are visiting in your area, right? So um, that's a big difference. So what I mean by that is when people come to the city, they're picking up these things, these pamphlets that are at the Office of Tourism. They're figuring out what they're going to do in the city. And I think that the Office of Tourism would have a better reach than the Office of Cannabis on just amplifying where legal stores are in the state.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know
So
if you agree.
no, I absolutely agree. Because to my point, right, like you said with the white and red taping or whatever's on there that says that there was illegal shops, you don't see them enough, right? And
Don't.
most likely that's probably there for a day or two, right? We know how that goes.
Right before they
They're gonna
rip it
open
down.
right back up the next day, like it's brand new business. If we can kind of get some initiative, maybe some way where they even agree to be a part of it, right? Because it's really just a sign, and it's really not going to stop too much of their business. But for the people that are looking, the people that need to know and looking for that information, they'll see that sign that says this is not part of New York's cannabis, program, right? So it doesn't have to say that it's illicit or illegal. It could just say that this store is not a part of the New York State cannabis program. And that won't actually just shun them out. But for people who are really looking for licensed programs, they'll see that and be like, oh, no, this is one of those illicit spots, right? So I absolutely agree.
And there is another initiative which I'll share. Let me see if I can find it really quickly. We have some time today, so give me one moment. There's actually a group that started a website to identify the illicit shops in New York, and I'm gonna see if I can find it for you. It takes community effort, so the community has to actually point out the illicit stores. Hold on 1 second. It's kind of a cool initiative, but it says help New York City ID unlicensed weed stores. And give me 1 second. I'm going to put up the link to this website that they've
Also, you
created.
can call 311 now and report the illicit shops as well.
Okay, that's good too. That
Yep.
is good. Let me see where it is.
I'm not sure who oversees that after the report is made. I'm not sure if OCM goes out or what. But yeah, you can definitely report that to 311 now.
They probably do after a certain amount of complaints or time. That's probably how they're getting the list of illicit shops when people report them through 311. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to try to find this for you guys, the actual link, because I want you to see what it looks like. And I think they give you a list of the stores. Let's see if I can find it. And I think that, again, this is a great topic because they've created an ecosystem, and it's really hard. It's hard because they're employing people. It's hard because there's so many of them. So the state is really finding it hard. Okay, I found the website. Here it is. And I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys and let you see it really quickly. And then I'm going to move into the resume workshop portion. Let me see. So do you see this website? So it wants you to identify the unlicensed NYC stores. And so here you can report it. So if you see an unlicensed store, photograph the storefront, scan this QR code and click it. They are, even if you want, they're asking you to even go a little bit further and actually do a transaction in their store, in the illicit store, through and you can see. So here's an example of a store that's illicit. You see the big I don't know if I can blow this up, but you see where it's pointing at the violation issued sign on that storefront. And then it gives you the information of the owner, right? And they want to get as much information. Now, again, they'll ask you, if you start participating in this, they'll ask you to go a step further in asking you to complete a transaction at the store. And the reason why is because a lot of these stores are using Visa and MasterCard to complete transactions, and that's illegal. Visa and MasterCard do not allow illicit transactions like that. That becomes a whole nother federal law that you're violating, but it allows them to step in quicker and close the store down if they're doing that type of activity. So it's interesting. Now you guys can see, you guys can identify where these smoke shops are if you sign up for that. That is an initiative, and people feel the same way you do. They are trying to take it one step further and get these stores shut down because they're not participating in the legal industry. And I'm not going to say that there isn't room for them to, if they wanted to switch over, but they would need to try to go, kind of go straight and narrow and clean up what they're doing now, So I hope that helps, Anthony. And I think that this is a conversation that we can have and kind of explore more offline and really delve deep into that. Again, I think the Office of Tourism, I haven't approached them yet, but I think that in New York City, that would be the best option in order to amplify to the masses that aren't residents either. So
Absolutely.
Now I kind of wanted to go into a workshop where we just go over how to create a resume and what a resume looks like in 2024. So, creating a resume in 2024, I think, is actually probably easier. We're not asking for as much information as we once did. I don't know if I don't have an example of an older resume, but like on my resume, I used to put my address, highlight my skills, do a whole, paragraph of why I was relevant for that. And times have changed. People don't want that much information. They want it to be quick. They want it to be fast. And they want it to be clear and concise. So I want to kind of give you guys some tips on how to create and format or resume for 2024 to kind of land you a job in this world of AI. So these are kind of 3 tips or 3 parts to this, right? First, you're going to identify your powerhouse skills. You did that in the last session. If you were here, you identified your transferable skills and you know what they are. Those are going to be so important for your resume. You're going to highlight your professional currency. We talked about this. Quantify your experience. Let them know how you're going to be impactful for them. Tell them how you can solve their problems. That's what they want to hear, and that's what you're going to do, right? And then make sure that you're formatting your resume correctly. So I'm going to go over this. I'm going to show you a resume. Give me 1 second that I've pulled. It is not my resume, but it is a nice resume. Okay, so this is for a graphic designer or art designer, right? And this is Chelsea Voss, and she's created a nice resume for herself. I'm going to point out some things that you don't see. First, it looks really nice, right? You guys, it's very appealing visually when you see it. You might not know what you're looking at yet, but I'm going to explain it to you. So right here at the top, you have her just saying who she is and the type of position or role that she's applying for, or the skills that fall under that role, right? So she's a graphic designer, art director. This is the type of job that she would be applying for, and this is where she has the majority of her skills. So that's why that's highlighted at the top. Her last name is right here. That's all that is her last name, and she made it look pretty. And then over here, you see she says hire and freelance. Up for a challenge. She puts little witty things, titles, subtitles, I should say, after her main titles, which I thought was very creative. Um, and what you don't see is her address. I want to point that out. You don't see where Chelsea lives. Don't put your address on your resume. Addresses are outdated. Please don't put your address on your resume. What you do want to put is a phone number so that they can call you, your email address, right? If you have a website, put your website. If you don't have a website, put your LinkedIn. If you have a WordPress, put your WordPress there, but put things that are relevant to you. Don't put your social media up here. If they want to look for your social media, make them look for it. Let them search. Don't give it to them, because you don't know. Our social media is very personal for most of us. You don't know what's going to be something that an employer doesn't like. So don't give them access to that. Make them look for it. Another thing is, um, just having your education. So again, I love her little witty subtitles here. Education, why I'm so good, right? I love her confidence level. She puts her school here. She puts her schooling here. You can or cannot put high school. I personally wouldn't put high school. I will put my college degree here, but let's say you don't have a college degree, put your workshops or certificates that you've gained, put it right here. That's relevant to the job. Put them right here, right? And then why you're so good, put them here under education. Um, and then here, experience. I like how she puts in the real world. I don't know where else you would get experience. But I love this. She puts that where she's worked. She does put the years of that when she worked there. But again, these were she goes from 2010 all the way to present. And she hasn't held that many jobs, so they all fit here, and this is good. But I will stress that if you have a job that was 10 years ago and it isn't relevant, don't put it on your resume. If you've had a job 15 years ago and the skill set is relevant, but you don't want to date yourself, don't put the date. Don't put the date. Dates aren't needed. You can just put how many years of experience you had. So if you did only websites here, and I'll use hers as an example, and you were the head art director, just put I was a head art director, and then under here, put 2 years relevant experience, right? Don't put the time. If you don't want to date yourself, don't put the years or the dates. They really don't mean anything, versus the experience and the actual length of time that you've had that skill or that experience. So just keep that in mind. Then under here, you see her skills. So when like my older resume that I had, my name at the top. I had a brief description of why I was good. And then I had all my skills just bulleted out, right? And I like the way that she does this. She puts a scale from 0 to 10, and then she puts different skills that she has. Now, remember, she's a graphic designer, so these are relevant to graphic design. These acronyms, so don't worry about that. But then she puts on a scale of 1 to 10 how well she is with that skill. Visually, this is appealing. You don't have to do this, but I'm just, giving you guys an idea on making something pretty. And, um, you could do this all different ways. You don't even have to put the level of skill that you have, like from 0 to 10. You could just list out your skills in this space right here and put your like top 5 skills or top 6 skills and just place them in this box. And then they know you're great at detail orient. You're great at communication. You're great at interpersonal skills. You're great at problem solving. You can put all your skill sets here on your resume. And then the capabilities, also skills. Like, what is she capable of? Um, as far as applications that they use, or things that they're doing. So here she's talking about app design, web design, print work, and she's also giving a scale. She's really not here. She's just making it look good by putting that line to the end. But she's telling them that I can make logos. I'm great at marketing and product development and branding, and these are my capabilities. And so you just want to highlight things that are relevant to that position. Um, so this overall is what kind of a resume looks like in 2024. It's bright, it is concise, it is only relevant to the skills in the position that you're applying for. Um, and again, even here under education, certificates, volunteer experience, maybe projects that you've worked on. I just want to point out some other tips while formatting your resume. Make sure you're using a professional, easy to read font like Arial, Times New Roman, or Calibri. Make sure your font size is between 10 and 12 points and readable. So, like right here, she's using a 12-point font, but underneath, she's using a 10-point font. Just make sure that you're, again, it's easy to read, that your margins look good. She uses a 1 inch margin on the side of her resume. Make sure that you have a 1 inch margin on all sides, and that it's clean and it's a balanced look. Her spacing is really good. Use single line spacing with sections and add extra space between the sections for visual separation. She's done that here. Use bold text. She does that to highlight where the headers are. So you're you're using the bold text to highlight your name, your job titles, your company names, and your relevant key skills. Making sure that you're aligning your text from left to right for that professional experience. Using bullet points if you need to, or um, like how she's using these bar graphs, just make it look appealing. The length, aim for your resume to be 1 or 2 pages maximum. If you needed to do 2 pages, you could. 1 page is nice, it keeps it concise. But again, if you had to use 2 pages because you are just that awesome and you have just that much experience and skill, please do. Make sure you let them know how great you are. But I would definitely say don't go past 2. If you have to go past 2 pages, then we need to some of the stuff on there probably isn't relevant to the position. So just making sure too that all the things you're putting on your resume is relevant to the position you're applying for is so important. The length, you just want it to be easy for someone to look over so that they can call you. And then make sure that you're saving it in a PDF file to preserve the formatting so that when someone else opens it up, it doesn't look all garbled and like everywhere, that it still looks nice and clean and neat and ensures it displays correctly across any different devices. And so, I mean, those are the tips that I have for you guys. I did drop a email address in the chat. Contact us at nyscannabisconnect.com. I'll write it again. For anybody that would like to send me their resume and they would like feedback on their resume or help with their resume, please feel free and I will reach out to you and set up a time. I will review it and then set up a time that we can review it together, or someone from my team, I should say. If it's not me, it will be someone from the NYSCC team that would like to help you with this. And then once you have created your resume, I'm going to take you to Graham now. And Graham is a tool that we've created at New York State Cannabis Connect that is a wealth of knowledge. I am going to, when it comes up, hold on, share my screen again with you. Here's the Graham. So Graham stands for our general resource and access map. We've spent almost 3 years creating this. This is my pride and joy right here. I love the Graham. It's the reason why I started New York State Cannabis Connect, because on here you can find your licensed retailers. Um, you can also find your local resources. We've actually just did an upgrade to this where we've uploaded so many more businesses and community-based organizations in here. So like you can see Action for a Better Community, Broome County Urban League. These are Cornell University. Like these are different organizations that are resources. You can um, be even more. Oh, I should have stayed in there. You can narrow it down through resources by hitting a tab at the top. So you can do associations and clubs, and then like Local 338 comes up. You can do career services. What do we have? Cornell, Rochester Works, Workforce Development Institute. So if you want to narrow it down, you can. Um, and again, this is a wealth of information. You can find all of the cannabis retailers on here, even if they're, so you can find CBD shops, licensed card shops, which are the 47 licensed dispensaries that we have in the state. We have not updated it with the newer ones. So my team actually, I noticed this morning, we have to go in and grab those, but you can find licensed shops. So if you check back next week, it will be updated with all 47 that you can see here. And then you can even find the medical dispensary. So medical marijuana, if you were looking just for the medical cannabis stores in your area. So again, Graham is a wealth of knowledge. Please use it. If you have a business, please add it. It is free. You can add your resume. You can add your business by going to our business directory homepage, and at the bottom, there'll be an option for you to join the Graham. So if you hit that, it'll bring up a page and you can fill out this registration and add your business to our directory. It's free. It is free to add your business. You can be a community-based organization. You can be offering a service. This is a video. Actually, I'll play it for you guys. Why not? We have a few minutes. I'll play this for you so you guys can see exactly what it is. Give me 1 second. I have to allow audio. Here we go. Our goal is to help the cannabis industry thrive, bring equity and opportunity to all the cannabis businesses through the power of knowledge and community. We're working to be the premier resource of cannabis industry information, and that starts with combining business information, news, community support, training, and educational resources in one place. It all starts with our map, and we call it the General Resource Access Map, or the GRAM for short. This map lists out every cannabis-centric business in the area, even yours. For businesses that register an account with us, we offer the option to create your own custom profile, allowing you to add your business information, respond directly to consumers through our forms, and even display products you carry if you're in retail. And so that kind of just is a description of what Graham is. And again, I implore you to use it. But what I really want to show you guys is that here you can post your resume. So after you create your resume, you can send us your resume. I gave you guys the email address because I want to help you perfect your resume before you post it for a job. But when you're ready to find a job in cannabis, we are trying to streamline this for you. And through our Catch a Contact Career Summits and through our networking, we've been able to identify employers that are looking for jobs. So I definitely implore you to upload your resume here and let us know what type of job you're interested in. And we'll try to match you with jobs and send you information around those jobs. So that's on the Gram. So I will now open it up for Q&A. And anybody that has questions, please feel free. You can raise your hand and I'll be more than happy to answer it.
So will you have, or will you open up some type of program where people can work with you? I guess like an ambassador program where I can bring to you people who are job seekers and things like that. Um, will you have something like that, like an ambassador program where people can connect other people with you?
Yes, Jamani, our COO, he's the Chief Operating Officer at New York State Cannabis Connect, is working on an ambassador program, and he is
Beautiful.
trying to start recruiting for that. Because we're a statewide organization, we definitely see the importance of having ambassadors throughout the state that understand what New York
Mm-hmm.
State Cannabis Connect does and understand
Yep.
the tools and resources that we can provide. So, Anthony, I think that's a great question, and I'll make sure that he reaches out to you personally to talk more about that program.
Awesome. And I just got a call from Professor Nicole. She told me to give you a hello. You and Jamani a hello.
Thank you so much. Yes. I think she's in Jamaica. I wish I was in Jamaica. um, Does anybody else have any questions, or would you, and if you want to be a part of that ambassador program, again, please use that email address, contact us at nyscannabisconnect.com. Let us know that you're interested. That would be great. So we have a kind of a list of people that we know that we can reach out to help spread this. Again, Jamani's working on boot camps. So our focus last year was career summits. We're still doing, or I should say the last 2 years, we're still going to do the Catch a Contact career summits, but we also want to do immersive workshops, boot camps, you can think of them as, where they're 1 or 2 days and you're learning everything about retail dispensary or everything about cultivation. And you can then thus take that certificate and apply it to your resume, right? And show that you already have those skill sets and you understand those different skills. So we're working on that now, and you'll be seeing those. We'll be doing about um, four of them this year. All throughout the state, we're going to be doing them, but we're going to be doing them quarterly. So you'll see one that happens this quarter, next quarter, and the next two. So keep an eye out for the updates, and we'll be sending you that. Also, you should be getting the Match Me emails if you signed up for this workshop. The Match Me emails will be starting this month again. So you guys should see those. The Match Me emails are job posts for jobs that are hiring. Right now, there are several jobs that are hiring. I'll just throw this out there. I know Etain is hiring. I know some of the dispensaries in the cities are hiring. I'll send you guys, I'll make sure if you guys aren't that, if you attended this workshop, you get the Match Me email, okay?
Yes. And I'm not sure if I heard, do you have a job board on the site where all the jobs are listed?
So we have a job board on the site, but it's not populated with jobs yet. There could be some, but there are not many. And we're
Gotcha.
working on that now. So we really were trying to push employers to do it so that the team wouldn't have to do the work. But I think because it's just so new, there's so many different tools out there that people don't really understand the resource that Graham is yet. And so we're really doing a campaign behind Graham this year. You'll actually see more about Graham, more commercials for Graham, showing what it is. And I think as that picks up, it will. What we've tasked our team to do now is every time they send out a Match Me email, there's about 15 to 20 jobs in that email. We want them to take those jobs and post them to the job board. So, but also that also brings up another issue, and I'll just throw this out here for our team, is that we don't know when the job is filled because we're posting it and we're not the employer. And so we're trying to really get a handle on that again and get employers to post them and keep a track of their profile. So on Graham, you can create a profile as a job seeker or as an employer. And so you can do different things, and we want them to actually start taking responsibility of their jobs, and at least going in there and letting us know when they've been filled. I think that's the biggest issue for us right now, and so we didn't want to have jobs that were outdated up there for, that you were looking at that you wouldn't be able to apply for. So, yes, thank you for
You can
asking
have
that.
an employment ambassador. You can have an ambassador that's directly works through the employment part, um, and kind of have like a portfolio where they're bringing in the jobs, having them listed, and making sure that it's taken down once it's fulfilled,
It's
and most
Phil.
likely,
I like
hopefully,
that idea.
fulfilled. It's through someone who came through Cannabis Connect. So it'd be
Right.
easy to kind of, we know that this person was employed because we put the job up and the employee came through us. We know it's filled. We could take it down now.
I love that idea, Anthony. I'm gonna have to take you from the council member.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You are awesome. I love the creative ideas that are coming out of this. Somebody, Lawrence, you asked for today's webinar. Yes, these are all recorded and they'll all be on our YouTube page. Some of them are up. You guys just haven't gotten an email. My team was out for the holiday and then they started to edit them, but you guys haven't gotten an email. So I think you might have gotten an email for the first and second session. And you might have gotten the PowerPoints from the Department of Labor and New York State Cannabis Connect. But later this week coming up, you will be getting the most up to date recordings of this, as well as the PowerPoints that I shared too. Yes. And
Oh,
Jermaine, did you
oh,
have a question? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I think I was about to cut Jermaine off. Go ahead, if someone else.
Let me see if I have Jermaine unmuted. Okay. Awesome. But your mic is, you can speak now, Jermaine. I thought I let everybody speak, but go ahead and speak if you would like. This is all recorded. This is Q&A right now, so you guys can ask questions, ask me any questions you would like. All of your mics should be allowed, so you could just raise your hand and speak. We
So,
have
Tiff,
Tim.
can I go again?
Yeah, of course.
All right, so I know we talk. This is about jobs and AI, and one of the things when it comes to this industry, I always like to go to the entrepreneurial side of it. And I know we're talking about jobs here, but with AI, right? AI technology information as far as like learning it really doesn't come into our communities a lot. What type of advice would you have for a person who has an idea for a dispensary, like a technology idea? Right? Where would they go? Because I feel like we don't get enough resources on if you have an idea for this industry, and especially in something like technology that's kind of removed from us. How would you recommend a person getting that idea to someone in the industry that can take it somewhere?
That is a great question, Anthony. One, I would say protect your intellectual property, protect your idea. If you have an idea, make sure that you write it out, that it's clear and concise, and then you speak with a lawyer to protect it because you don't want to give someone your idea and they take it and you don't get credit, right? So that's number one, is that a lot of times we have ideas we don't know and we speak too soon and maybe give our ideas up before getting our due, right? We need our dues too. And so,
Yeah.
one, I would say keep it close. And then, after you've secured it and you've spoken with a lawyer and you understand your intellectual property, because it is intellectual property, um, then then you can start talking to tech companies. I wouldn't just necessarily say jump into cannabis, but I would say when I had the idea of Graham, and y'all can see that video was a long time ago. Y'all see how long my hair is now, right? When I first thought of Cannabis Connect, it was the map, and I wanted a map. And Graham was my idea from the beginning because I wanted to connect people. It was part of the reason we chose New York State Cannabis Connect as the name. But I went to a website design team to help me first create kind of an overview and help me articulate what I was thinking about this technology and how it will work in the real world. And of course, that came with contracts, so I protected myself, but it also gave me the expertise I needed without yet letting the industry know what I was doing, right? And to also protect my idea. So I would say to start there. And then once you kind of have an overview, and these tech companies will build out like prototypes per se, right? So it won't be the website, but it'll give you an idea of what it can look like. And then you have that. And now that you have that, you've secured your idea through a lawyer, through intellectual property. You have something that actually shows what your idea is. Then you can start moving into the space where you can start networking and connecting with people that maybe can put your idea into fruition. Maybe that's investors, maybe that's certain people within the industry. But Anthony, through that, I think that you've created another topic that I should really talk about as a Black woman in tech, because a lot of people don't really see that I'm in tech. They see I'm in cannabis, but they
Absolutely.
don't relate that I've created technology, I've created tools. Here,
Very correct.
I have you guys on the Cannabis Connect website in the background. We have a form. A lot of people don't know that we have a form. Let me see if I can sign in. And I'll actually show you guys this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save this for next time, and I'm going to walk you guys through what New York State Cannabis Connect looks like when you have a membership. And I'm going to take a 10 minutes on our next session to walk through Cannabis Connect from the other side. So you signed up for New York State Cannabis Connect, and now you can actually get in the back end of it. You can post your resume, you can post jobs, you can go into the forum, start a conversation, get feedback. So I want you guys to see how many tools we've created here, because we're really trying to make it accessible for everybody. But I think because this is such a new industry, Anthony, and technology is such a big part of where we're going, not just in cannabis, but in general, that to have that conversation for minorities in communities disproportionately impacted will be so important so that they understand how to navigate this landscape.
Absolutely. It's another part that we're
Thank
left
you.
out of.
Yes, and I think we should work on that. And maybe we start it in your area
Yes, we absolutely
with the
can. I like the
workshop that
word
we
we.
do. Yeah, I like that. I like that. We could start in your area. Lawrence, you have your hand up. Please feel free to just, whenever you're ready, you should be unmuted. Oh, there you go. I thought I allowed everybody. There you go, Lawrence.
You can
You
unmute it.
should be good now. Try it now, Lawrence. You
Okay, so
told me that.
thank you.
Okay, good.
Good afternoon. The email that you
Good
sent, I
afternoon.
can send my resume to, or do I have to? Like, how would it work to edit my resume?
No, you can send your resume right to that email. Contact us at cannabisconnect.com. And me or someone on our team is going to review them, give you feedback on them, and then we'll set up a meeting to help you create a new one if you want.
That's perfect. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. Well, if no one else has any questions, oh, Jermaine,
No, I didn't have a question per se. I was just tapping in to what Lawrence and the other guys are saying.
beautiful. Go ahead.
Now, as far as the networking aspect of everything, I'm thinking like with the different forms of technology that we do have, as far as the AI and the different forms of marketing that we do have, how will we go about networking with the entities that are in the cities that we have? Like for myself, I'm in Rochester, so I know I'm tapped in like with Open Door and with Willow Domestic Violence, and being that they are community based, they are willing to be able to partner with us as in the Cannabis Connect. So I'm just want to think of different ways we can collaborate with them and market with them and see if we can bring something bigger with that.
Let's do it, Jermaine. Yes, I would love to collaborate with them. Um, you know, I just went to a meeting with Redco. They're trying to figure that out too. I don't know if you're familiar with the Rochester Economic and Development Corporation, but they're trying to do
Yes.
some things as well. And I think in Rochester, we're a little bit behind on that
Right.
part of like getting everybody to kind of come together to help provide those business resources and tools that people trying to enter the cannabis industry will need. But I would love to speak with you more about that, Jermaine. I know that we had spoke before, and again, how we can do this because we're in the same area. Yes, I think it's so important that they connect and get involved. They could also be listed on here as a community-based organization, right? Because they're providing tools and resources. So I think it's important that we educate them on the resources that are available and the tools that are available to help them connect to with the industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. We definitely connect and build on that.
Thank you. And you have my contact already, right, Jermaine?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. So we'll definitely be in contact, and we'll connect offline. And as well, you, Anthony, as well. I would love to do something in Queens. So I think that this was a great session. I hope that you all found value in it. Again, it is recorded, so we'll put it live on our YouTube channel. And because of this session, me and the Department of Labor are going to do one for entrepreneurs. So if anybody on this call is also thinking about maybe being an entrepreneur, not just an employee, please keep that in mind. We will be sharing that later. It'll probably be more in the second quarter, but I really want to get people prepared for licensure and or working in and around cannabis or having a business in and around cannabis. Because again, this doesn't have to be plant touching. There are many things that support cannabis administration, video, technology, computer or internet design, website design. So there's a lot of things, social media management. There's a lot of things. I think some great things came out of this call. Thank you so much, Anthony, for the idea of the ambassador. We're definitely leaning into that into 2024. I hope that you all on this call will sign up to be ambassadors once we roll that out. And I look forward to reviewing your resumes and offering you feedback and helping you all land a job in cannabis. So thank you. If no one has any questions, I will let you all enjoy the rest of your Saturday. I hope you stay warm because it is a cold one in New York today. And I will put
Definitely take care and do the thing.
thank you all. And I'll drop the email address one more time in the chat for you all. And I believe when you get your emails from us for these events, you can reply back to them. I'm not going to say it will be as a quick because it's a app that we send them out through MailChimp. So this is a direct email, but if you reply to the email you got to join this chat today or this session, we'll respond to that as well. Okay. Thank you all. You have a beautiful day. I appreciate your time.
Please take care.
Take care now.